Okay,
Pam.
call the meeting of the Excellence in Student Achievement Committee to order. And I am going to read the checklist to ensure meetings are compliant with the right to know law during the state of emergency. As chair of the Sanborn Regional School Board's Excellence in Student Achievement Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the Sanborn Regional School Board's Excellent
Frozen.
Are available to continue discussions with you.
and student previously.
There we go.
And if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number: 1-646-558-8656, meeting ID 998-3125-7277, or by clicking on the following website address: www.youtube.com/c/SRSD meeting videos. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the Sanborn Regional School District at www.sau17.net. B, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If there is a problem, please call 978-482-7394 or email at helpdesk@sau17.net. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. I'll start. Tammy Mahoney, I'm in my home. There are family members around.
Pam Brown, I am at home by myself.
And Jamie?
Jamie Fitzpatrick, I'm in my home office by myself.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion on the minutes of our meeting on June 17?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. And roll call vote. Pam, all in favor?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
An aye for me. That's unanimous. And okay, we just have one agenda item, which is to discuss the ALMA grade reporting system. I'm going to turn this over to Patty at this time.
So I shared with all of you the findings, all of the research that I had done back at the end of June, right after we had the presentation at the board meeting. I had reached out to a number of the current users of ALMA to get references. Those were provided by Teresa Schneider-Heinz, who was the person who presented at the board meeting last month. And as you saw in my summary, all of them had very fantastic things to say about ALMA. And this is going from people who have been working with them for 5 years to other folks who've been with them for maybe 2 or 3 years. That in combination with the conversation I had with Chris Andriski from Exeter prior to her presentation, it all is pretty similar kind of information, just really good kinds of things. I'm just going to pull it up and read a couple of comments for the public's So when I spoke to Robin Dunlap at SAU 18, which is up for the mountain area, they had been researching a lot of SIS companies for over a year, and they decided on Alma. The changeover happened in summer of 2017. Transition was smooth, and even though they trained their users, the folks caught on fast. It was almost like they didn't need to be trained. They had a lot of requests for Alma, and Alma met their needs every single time. The information stored in the cloud. So she had mentioned that just in case there's an evacuation due to weather or a boiler breaks or there's an unfortunate emergency, you don't need to worry about not being near the system. You can pull up all kinds of information. Parents really like the system, according to what Robin said, especially the mobile app. There's a mobile app that parents can download. They can log in as often as they want to, watch student progress, all those things. So they really, they've been happy with them for 3 years. Mark McClellan over in the Merrimack Valley SAU 46, big fan of the system. The pricing's right. He was a computer teacher, and he said that they researched it for quite a bit before they went that way 5 years ago. He was another one who said the system's intuitive. Parents can see how their children are doing all the way down to each individual assignment. No hiccups at all in the 5 years that they've worked with them, and the company is hands-on. Chris Motika, SAU 53, which is Pembroke, said that they were another group that they looked at a lot of different companies, and every other company they looked at had huge complaints, and this company kept coming back with good reviews. He was really talking a lot about Report Writer, which would be the component that would be used to put together the report cards. And you could put in all kinds of things and customize it. One of the things that Chris Motika had said is the way to go is emailing the progress reports home. You don't need to worry about printing them and sending them with the children or putting them in the mail. So you're saving a lot of money. They're emailed, they're instantly in the parents' possession as, you know, whatever the email address that you've got for them. So that's really great. And Chris is willing to travel to help us if we need that. If he wants us to ask him for help, he'll be there. John Martin, SAU 2, which is Interlakes. They're the longest customer. This was the end of their 5th year with Alma, so they're going into their 6th. Teachers can get help directly from Alma. One of the things that he mentioned that I thought was really great was if a teacher goes in to ask how to do something in a chat, and it's something that you do only periodically, the question gets answered and it's in there and it's stored in your chat. So if it's 3 months later and you have to go back and do that thing, you go back in the chat to look up the answer. You don't have to go back and ask and wait for the answer to come back. There's curriculum mapping, which is another component. Right now we're just looking at the grade book, but that's something to look at down the road. Displaying grades and assignments is clear. You know what the assignments are that fed into the final grade, how the student did on them. Comments can be added for parents to view. So really a lot of positive comments. There's just a lot more, but it's a lot of the same. So at this point, I guess, I don't know if we have questions. Tammy, I don't know what you want to do with the next steps, but that was the report that I got from all my research.
The only question I had as I was reading the information that you sent was, did you make a point of asking if there were any
Problems? Yeah.
or any guidance that we might have to any, like roadblocks or things that we might avoid?
I kept asking. I said, where are the problems? I need to be a skeptic. You need to tell me, this sounds like it's too good to be true. I need the real skinny. And they're like, there's no ghost. There's nothing in the closet. There's nothing to tell you. Everything is good. And if you have an issue or you want something and you want them to develop it for you, they might not have it right that minute, but they kept talking about, we had discussed this earlier, the work teams would go back into that sort of place where you put suggestions and they go in and they want to attack it and they want to solve it. And one of the things that they kept saying, multiple people I spoke to said they really partner with you, which really sounds like it's, this frou-frou phrase, but it sounds like from the experiences that they had, and this was something that Exeter had even mentioned to me, you said, can you work on us to develop this kind of a thing? And they'll help you and they'll work on it together, because if you're asking for it, probably some other district someplace else wants it. And so a lot of the features that have been added are because of people wanting things. And there's a lot of teachers who work in the company, and they're sort of attuned to what teachers might need and what, parents are asking for, what students might need to do. So I kept poking. I'm like, tell me something. And 5 years you've been with the company. What's the issue? I mean, the issues were coming up were kind of like, well, sometimes you have to wait a little bit for this thing to load, and you're kind of going, okay, and what's the issue with that? But it just, no big issues, no problems, no, really, it sounds like it's too good to be true, but it's also refreshing to hear that there's a company that thinks about how the product is getting used instead of what they think something should be, which is what we have been finding with what we've got with Wazzle. And I had used Power School in the past. And I told you the story about my schedule falling apart. It's just, it's horrible when something doesn't go right. So yeah, I kept poking and nothing.
Are there any questions from anyone? Jamie?
Mine's not really a question, it's just a comment. So I was skeptical. We were looking at Wassel, and all of a sudden we've got this and it's going to be available and it's going to be okay. So I was skeptical all along. The thing that I was struck by most is the requests for feedback. Everybody sounded like a salesman for the company. So it's very odd when all of your customers are selling the product to potential other customers. It just struck me as odd, because normally you get, it's this, but there's usually a bunch of buts, but you didn't uncover a lot of buts. I was particularly interested in seeing people that had longevity. It's one thing to court somebody and get them to say yes and then get on board and then ignore them after the fact. But we have people of numerous years all still acting the salesman part, with strong support that they're getting and that they believe in the system. So that pretty much convinced me. The only thing I make a comment for the public is this does not dictate what is going to be the metrics that are going to be used to measure anything. This is a communication and management tool. So buying this doesn't say that your grades are going to be in progress, progressing, whatever, A, B, C, D. It doesn't say anything about your grades. It's flexible enough to accommodate whatever the district decides to do. So this is truly a management tool that is an improvement for what we have, that has been vetted and has been proven in the marketplace with pretty good results and pretty good comments by the people using it. So I'm supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very user-friendly and it has a proven track record. I just want to thank Dr. Haynes for getting all the feedback for us. Glad to hear a lot of teachers are instrumental in designing the system, and I think it'll serve us well, and I'm eager to get us on board with this. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And yeah, I think the communication part of this and being able to convey to parents and even student users at the upper levels what's happening and what they're missing, and knowing those things ahead of time is really going to markedly improve how our students are doing. We saw this year with going to remote learning how bizarre things can be, and how communication is so important. So I really think that this is going to be a huge help for us. And yeah.
Do you have any of the cost figures? I don't know if I've seen this.
Yeah, I do. I sent them out, and I don't know if you want me to send them back to you, but I did send a spreadsheet. So
I don't think I got that. I think I miss emails sometimes, but yes.
okay. So what we would be doing for this year, the gradebook / report card component, and I use report card loosely because it would just be the reporting feature, would be $14,830, and then there's $12,500 in one-time costs that they would have to bring in all of our data. We would have to send them all the information of our students and classes and schedules and all that. So for this year, we're looking at spending $27,330. And then what we would be hoping to do, because of the way that this is such a robust system, provided that in a year that we're happy with Alma and things are going the way they are, we would look at then changing over our student information system from Infinite Campus, removing our current curriculum sort of portal holding place, which is Atlas Rubicon. This would get rid of WASL. This would get rid of all the Infinite Campus. They ding you for every single thing that you want. You want them to build your report card, you get dinged. You want them to do an online registration, you get dinged. You want to be able to send out robocalls because the concert is canceled tonight, you get dinged. So we would end up saving, let me see here, it would be, if we were going the preferred target, we would spend just another $31,000 next year, which would be comparable to $49,253, which was what we would be spending in a regular year. And I can resend that to you, Tammy, if you want, but it would be substantial savings because we would be able to bundle everything, the student information system, the grade book reporting system, the curriculum housing mechanism, the LMS, which is provided in there, it talks directly to Google Classroom. So it would manage a lot of the courses that folks would be using. Yeah, so it would bundle it and bring it down for us substantially. Nearly $20,000 savings.
Okay. So we were delegated by the board at our last board meeting. We were authorized to make the decision. Does anyone, I will entertain a motion if anyone wants to make one.
I move that we adopt the Alma grade reporting system for the coming year. And I'd like to have regular updates on teacher satisfaction during the year. And we're only obligated to 1 year contract, I guess. Okay. So that would be my motion.
I second.
Okay. All in favor by roll call vote? Pam?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
And I for me as well. That's unanimous.
One of the other things that we would be providing you with, in addition to the teacher satisfaction updates, we would work on this committee to develop the report card templates to see what those would look like once we get everything set up. I'm hoping to talk to Teresa probably, if not tomorrow, that definitely Thursday, get us up and running, get all of our information over. I don't know how soon we'll be able to get working on some templates for report cards, but certainly by beginning of September, with all the other stuff that we've got going on, trying to figure out COVID and online and not online, and just, yeah, there's a few things happening, but we would definitely be involved, in this committee, deciding what does the report card need to look like, what should be in there, what can we do, making sure that we've got that the pieces correct.
Okay. All right. Unless anyone had, oh, Pam.
I hate to broach the subject, but it's been beyond frustrating that the governor and the Department of Education has no guidance out there. And nationally, it's a problem. I even heard some bureaucrat say, well, it's only July. And I'm thinking, as a teacher, only July. It's way past when we should have a plan in place. So I'm assuming the superintendent will be issuing some kind of statement or guidelines for us soon.
So I can speak to that, and Jamie's on one of the work group.
Oh, that's right.
Work groups coming. So we've got another one tomorrow. We're going to be looking at some survey questions, putting out another survey to parents. Now that it's July, they might think differently than when it was May. Our case numbers are different in New Hampshire. We're going to be trying to figure out what to do. We want to have a plan in place by probably the 22nd of July, if not maybe a little bit after that, to have something to share with the community, because if we don't know what we're doing, nobody else can plan. But you're right, Pam, it's hard. Nobody's helping us figure out what we can do, what we should do. But we do expect to have some sort of information and, you know, based on input from families, figure out what works. And, you know, Tom is really trying to get best practices from neighboring districts. What are they looking at? How are they thinking about things? We had a long meeting today. We had a almost 3.5-hour meeting just to talk about options and what's feasible and what we might need to change around as far as maybe furniture. We looked at the Massachusetts plan that they shared, talked about busing. So we've got a number of things to discuss still, but he
I'm
definitely,
sure you've been doing nothing else. I just wanted to express,
yeah,
to commiserate with you. I understand everyone's in the same boat here, but extremely frustrating. So thank you so much.
yeah, we're doing the best we can.
Jamie?
I would just point out, I don't expect the governor to make a statewide announcement. The school districts in the North Country are completely different than the school districts on the border. And I don't think he's going to go through and say, I dictate the following on a county by county basis. So I think in the end, there won't be a statewide one. So we do need to, Patty's talking about, we're going to have to lay it out and figure it out on our own, because I'm expecting a government-wide, statewide plan.
We've all gotten really good at.
But I don't think so.
No, I think you're right too. And all of us have, you know, gotten really good at looking at the Johns Hopkins numbers, the DHHS numbers. Some of us have bookmarked those pages. Where are we today? Where were we yesterday? Where do they think they're going? How are we a month ago? So yeah, we're just, it's constant. So we'll figure it out, and we'll, you know, this is going to be a situation this year where what we decide in July or August is probably not going to be in place throughout the whole year. I mean, personally, I fully anticipate we're going to be heading into some sort of remote again at some point, and we're going to be planning for that too, because it's a fluid situation. You don't know when we're going to get spikes. We don't know when we're going to get flare-ups. We don't know how this is going to affect children, because we really haven't had children in classrooms since this started. So we really need to be ready to pivot and think about things, you know, this year as being a moment by moment, sort of take it as it comes, which I'll tell you, as a teacher, we don't like those things. We want to know where we're going, when the test is going to be given. We want to, you know, next month I'm doing this. We don't like that. And as humans, you want to have some sort of a routine. And so this is very hard on a lot of levels, but we're going to do the best to support families, to support students, to support our teachers and faculty and staff, and make sure we all just sort of get through this. You know, we thought the reorganization was going to be the biggest thing we dealt with. We didn't know this was coming. So yeah, it's going to be a lesson for us to have patience and just take it as it comes, and we will be good. We'll be fine.
Well, we appreciate the work that you're doing.
And we
Yes, thank
appreciate the support from the board. So thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then I will declare that we are adjourned. Our next meeting is on August 19th, scheduled meeting at least. And so we are adjourned.